behind this dialogue. And not only that we understand what's behind the dialogue, but we distribute the information in a way that can be used by various stakeholders. We're really excited because this gap in information right now is what is going to drive us to be successful moving forward. And we acknowledge the inaugural funders that have come to the table to say that we believe in you at the Joint Center to take on this mission has just been incredible. I myself have spent a lot of time at the FCC, and I see again the opportunity for us to create this body of work at the Media Technology Institute will be very vital. So as we move forward, a few projects of interest that I want to share with this group that will be our main big rocks ahead. We'll be developing the first data set that looks at a stratified sample of users and how they are applying broadband in their everyday lives. We're working with the Princeton Survey Research Associates group to come up in November with a great body of work that will be the first, and I have to say that again, and I often don't get to do that, so I thank Mr. Everett for that opportunity, but it will be the first and only comprehensive data set that will be able to be a resource to all of you in this room that care about these issues. Thank you. Now, I often share this in jest. I've only been on this job for about 4 weeks. So I've been really busy with regards to that. The second thing that we're going to be focusing on is partnering with reputable organizations across the city and across the nation to ensure that we leverage their data. Everybody has a broad stroke. And I was telling my friend John Horrigan that, not that we're tired of hearing about Pew, it's just that that's all we know right now. And so we're working with Pew in the future, hopefully, to really develop some data that they've not run, and we look forward to that being out in the next 3 to 4 weeks. I've got an incredible staff at the Joint Center that's been focusing on those issues. The third piece that we're going to be looking at are other pivots in the area of technology that we need to be paying attention to. Many of us know about Twitter. We understand or we use Facebook. We've had some dealings with a lot of the social networking sites. But what are the implications moving forward? So at the Media and Technology Institute, we'll be embarking on a project to better understand how minorities are utilizing social networking tools. We know that minorities came out, particularly African Americans, to use it to vote. And thanks to their vote, that we were able to bring in our new president. But how will we, when we look back at this picture 10, 15 years later, understand what got them involved and what other public purpose uses were able to help them get out of the trajectory of poverty, find new opportunities and benefits for their communities, and create sustainable communities? So we'll be looking at that issue as well. And then finally, and then I'm going to sit down, the other area that is near and dear to the Media and Technology Institute will be working with the Black elected officials. The elected officials, and we're actually, it's a precursor, and I'll talk a little bit more about this at the end. We're going to be doing a luncheon in honor of a report that they will be releasing, our first report. But the elected officials are very localized and close to the ground. Whether they're mayors or county officials or state representatives, they know day by day the needs of their constituencies. So at the Media and Technology Institute, we are making a commitment to work with the African American elected officials to ensure that they have a seat at the table to talk about this stuff. Because what better way to get into the house, as my grandmother used to say, is to know somebody in the house before you knock on the door. And so it's our goal to ensure that we help to articulate the vision that many of them and many of the people represented in this room have worked so hard to actually craft. So not that I have a lot to do, and not that there's not more to do, but we're excited, and again, I am just humbled by your presence here today to share in our first policy forum, and look for many more of these to come down the line as we bring together experts and leaders in this space to talk about issues that we at the Joint Center care about most. With that, now I was trying to introduce Commissioner, but there was a special person who happened to sign my check that decided that he had to make the introduction because he was very critical in some of the preparation that went forth. So I'm going to sit down, so not that Ralph and I are playing tag team here, but I'm going to allow my new boss, Mr. Ralph Everett, CEO of the Joint Center, to come back up and introduce our speaker for today.
Thank you. First of all, let me thank Nicole for allowing me to and so that there's no confusion, Nicole, there is a lot of work to do at the Joint Center. Let me just say that I'm delighted and I'm honored and I'm very proud to introduce our featured speaker today, Commissioner Mignon Clyburn. I say that I'm proud because I'm fortunate enough to share a common heritage with Commissioner Clyburn. We both hail from the great state of South Carolina. And I'm proud to say that we both experienced a mother and a father who were very proud of us and kind of pushed us along the way. And as I mentioned earlier, Commissioner Clyburn's mother, Emily Clyburn, is here with her today. So we are really just thankful that they played such a great role in our lives to allow us to get to where we are today. And for those of you who are looking a little quizzical, have this quizzical look on your face, let me just say, good things do come out of South Carolina. Now think about that for a minute. But anyway, Commissioner Clyburn has taken a very thoughtful approach in her first few weeks in the job with her work at the FCC. She's, as many of you in the room know, she's held off on meetings with industry players until she's had a chance first to meet with consumer, public interest, and civil rights groups, and she has committed herself to being a consumer champion during her tenure at the FCC. And the commissioner not only brings state-level government experience, she's served over a decade on the South Carolina Public Service Commission, but she also has firsthand experience as a small business owner, working hard to gain a foothold in the marketplace as an owner, as a publisher, as an editor, and sometimes a delivery person of a weekly African-American newspaper in Charleston for 14 years. Commissioner Clyburn understands what it is like to try and make a fledgling business successful in a tough economic environment. Thus, she will be finely attuned to the need for a competitive marketplace. Finally, Commissioner Clyburn will not forget where she came from. That is, outside of the Beltway. While she appreciates the expertise and the experience of those engaged in Washington policy debates, she is also committed to understanding what real consumers throughout the country think and what concerns they have when it comes to 21st century communications. And I believe that her hallmark will be her ability to connect with those outside the commission and to bring others into the process. So I want to introduce my friend, as we say, my homegirl, the first African-American woman to serve as an FCC commissioner, Commissioner Mignon Clyburn. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Ralph, and good afternoon, everyone. We can do better than that. Okay. Ralph will tell you South Carolinians are very particular about greetings. You know, we may say some colorful things in some places where we shouldn't, but but we do greet. So I say again, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. It is an honor and a privilege to join you today. For nearly 40 years, as was mentioned, the Joint Center has been instrumental in providing and improving the lives of all Americans by focusing exclusively on issues of particular concern to African Americans and other people of color. It is a great model for success in the public policy arena and a carrier of a mission that its president and executive director not only preaches but practices. I am